Nicky Blackmarket, play my song. Draw my door plate, you a DJ Dan. Them sort of tune they should have reached #1, yo. You know it's for my jungle list. Zoop, zoop. You're locked in to the original Jungle Don, Nicky Blackmarket. Mind the gap. Shadow, 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 shadow.
This is Scotty Ranks. When I'm anywhere in the world, I listen to Nicky Blackmarket and the Junglist. DB DJ, you know them a debt, you know them a debt. No for them a worry, no for them a worry, some of them a fret. Nicky Blackmarket have the stopper.
Good evening, peeps.
Longing for the life that could have been.
Nicky Blackmarket podcast in association with Innovation and Sennheiser sponsors. Stacked out headrooms. Nice to have your company. Every second Sunday of the month.
No, it's all rose tinted, but I don't recall it different. I'll remember.
Kicking off this evening, something new from The Alchemist. Forthcoming on Firebeats.
It ain't over when it's done, 'cause I got the toxic repression.
This one's called Repression.
Writing the faults, yeah.
Don't forget, 6:30, around about 6:30, we've got an interview with Aries. Maybe in the comments, leave something what you want to, maybe some questions in there.
No, it's all rose tinted.
Touch down the road, boy. This one sound of Aries and the Gore. Featuring the Moose. Don't forget Aries coming up. Little Zoom call chat, half 6. Big up the Chur. Big up the Mr. Rogers. Good evening, sir. Shout out to the Mr. Moorish. Touch down the road, boy. Simpson. Big up to Scott. Shout out to the Rosie. Gotta say a massive, massive shout. Massive happy Mother's Day to each and every mum out there. Also shout to Scotty's mum, Jackie. Hope you're having a lovely day. Big up all the mums. Hope you're getting pampered. This one is Toxinate and Enter. Shout out to the Fat Man. Brand new Bio Beats. Shift on the remix. Big up the Million Caitlin.
Any jungling guy.
When my name is Russ, them or Elias Demolition Man. Right now with a band they beat, but when I come competition, when I come to MC, do a nice obsession. If you love them new style, if you ever put no one under. Check out the light, the flash it up in, and there you make a you know say demolition man come from my shop.
Big up the Billy Man that's passing through.
That come in the bottom part right now. people them in the place. All night to go. All jump up massive. For real. Fire. Make a bun the place down. The man in this one the name was in your house. Fire. On your bed they got a lighter. Right down there you something for tell the people let them take them. DJ Trick. DJ Tricks. Nicky Blackmarket podcast show, Sunday evening. Don't forget we've got interview coming up with the Aries half 6. Coming on the Gradient album, Standard a Replicant. Big up the Nuri, aka the Amplify.
Marvellous Kane just breezing through the studio. Another one that's doing the cleaning later on, I do believe. Marvellous Kane and Bellyman cleaning show. Called Shots Fired. It was out on Random Concept. Shout out to Gary K, Pressure and all the Random Concept crew. Kendrick, shout out to the Poppy. Big up the Mookie, Morgan. Big up the Pallet and Steve and all the crew. Jungle Cakes, Junior Mervin, Benny Page, Isaac Meyer remix. Big up the Paddy and Steve saying Sunday Songs of Praise revamped. Mark Andrews. Big up the Andy Stringer. Good evening, sir. Shout out to everyone locked in, locked on. The Nicky Blackmarket podcast. Headrooms. Stacked Out Entertainment. Sponsored by Innovation and Sennheiser. And It's a happy Mother's Day to each and every one's mummy. Big up to Tim, big up to Fiona. Big up to Kevin Driscoll. Not long now, and hopefully all the madness will be over. Everything to start opening up some kind of normality again. Start to go watch the footy again with the family. Shout to the Tamara. Big up to Sid. Good evening, sir. Remix of Serum and Voltages 8 bits. Big up the Serum, big up the Voltage, big up the Harriet, big up the Sonny. Right, we're going to play one more and then we're going to go into the interview. It's quite interesting because I always have interviews on me rather than me on someone else. That'd be interesting.
I can kind of envision maybe one person with a lot of machines.
one's Sound of the Tricks. This one's called Sleep on It. Little deep, little techie one. Right, special guest we have in the building, infamous Aries. Aries,
All right,
come in. You all right? Can you hear me there?
All right, mate, I got you here.
Wicked, right. Yeah, this is a first for me. Let's play a little mix from your good self in the background. Keep it nice and low. Wicked. Right.
First for me as well, mate, so
Brilliant.
Yeah, all good.
Right. Well, let's take it back to the beginning. You're hailing in from Stourbridge up in the Midlands,
Yes, mate.
where you're born and bred,
Yeah.
and a little miscellaneous information. I mean, I like the old trains, I like the old choo-choos and all that. And Stourbridge has the smallest branch railway in the country, I do believe.
Yeah, apparently so. Very small little train line from Stourbridge Town to Stourbridge Junction.
What's that, a mile or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Less than a mile, actually.
Yeah, I remember seeing a little while ago that there was a nasty accident. Was it in the 90s?
Yeah, a bit before then, but there was a nasty accident.
And the thing come right off the wall. The train
Right
come
through the
right
wall.
off.
Yeah, no brakes.
It actually reminded me of Block 9. You know the Block 9 arena, the London Underground arena in
Glastonbury.
In Glastonbury. That's what it
Yes,
actually
mate,
reminded me of.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, maybe that's where they got the idea from.
Maybe, mate. Maybe.
Let's see. So, yeah, tell me, where did it all start? Where did the whole DJing start for you?
Okay, so back in the day, I started in end of 1990 as a pirate radio DJ. The lad above me in the year above me at school got an FM radio transmitter, and
in Stourbridge.
In Stourbridge, yeah.
Right.
And we did pirate radio after school locally around our town, and that was kind of how it started. And I got into
what years was that now?
That was the end of 1990.
Right. Just
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
Just a couple, mate. Yeah.
Just a couple.
So that's where it all stemmed from, really. That's where I started getting into music and listening to other pirates, and then, you know, picking up on some early rave music on other pirate radio stations, and kind of getting into the whole culture, basically, because I was too young to go to a rave. So I was consuming that and getting into that music really through the airwaves.
At a really young age, then.
Yeah, I was like 13.
Yeah, before you could even go to a club, you're doing the pirate radio.
Pretty much, mate. Yeah.
No, that's. Do you know what? It's interesting because, you know, a lot of people like us, they began on the pirate radio. That's where it all began. The 90s.
Yeah.
Pirate radio, underground parties, the whole thing. That's where it really. To me, where it all started. So let's say What's your musical interests other than DMB?
Well, really, I got into like electronic music, and that was the first music that I really got into. So kind of early dance music, rave music, that kind of stuff, I suppose. And really, it took me a long time to get into other musics. I suppose by the middle of the 90s, we were starting hearing dub music and other types of electronic music, because the rave music had stemmed off into so many genres. And I think then my appreciation for kind of like live music a bit later on in the 90s, when things like The Prodigy and Orbital and Chemical Brothers were taking the underground electronic music into the live bigger stage thing. You know, first it was electronic, but then you get the crossover of
It was
live,
kind of,
you know.
I'd say it was kind of before it really kind of started spinning off in all different directions.
Yeah. Yeah, so a bit of everything really, but you know, I mean, really, it's about, for me, it is about the electronic end of music. But I do like my reggae, I like my rare groove, the soul, the funk. But a lot of all that's come from hearing those styles within the dance music, or within some, you know, within drum and bass or jungle, and then going off and checking it out more and kind of growing appreciation for these things through my journey on the electronic path, so to speak.
So for you, when was it really that it was jungle's the one? When would you say, if you could, I wouldn't say, you know, when was the moment that you say, right, this is it?
Well, I mean, really, I started going out to the raves in like early '94. So in early '94, this was kind of like that. Well, that was the era.
That's the explosion. That's the explosion, really. Yeah.
So the first raves I was going to were during '94, and it was off the back of '93.
What raves are we talking about?
Things like Terminator was still being played, so which was pre.
What events are we talking about here?
We're talking about stuff in Birmingham, actually. Promoters like Pandemonium, but the first one I went to was in Hockley, and it was they did another thing called Wobble there, and it was in Hockley in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham, and it was a promoter called Underground Promoters, but they were like the original Birmingham club night from 90. I think they started in 90. Bassman was resident there in 90, and pretty much all the first guys went and played at that at what they used to call the bass place, way back in the day. But it was a stem off because they'd moved then. That was at a different location they'd moved. And yeah, it was 94, and it was interesting because a load of the resident DJs were from Stourbridge. So it was like it had that connection as well.
Home
still.
from home from home kind of thing. Wicked.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, that was my first club experience, and it got me, because obviously I'm listening to music one way, but obviously when you go out and dance to it and get the club experience of it, it's something else in it. So, you know, I'd been into the music, but I didn't get it in the same way. So from that point in '94, that's when I really got it, you know.
No, wicked. So mentioning so mentioning no names, what was the worst experience at a gig or a venue for you?
Oh mate, caught me on the spot a bit with that one, to be honest. The worst experience, wow. I've been in some venues when CS gas has been let off. Yeah, I've been, you know, and that was a pretty bad experience, having to leave the club pretty quickly, you know, get out the way of that, which is pretty.
Yeah, that's kind of surreal. I've been in that situation myself, and it is kind of surreal, and it happens so quick, doesn't it? It's just like yeah.
Back in the day, it was a little more shady on the club scene, so you know, you would see ambulances turning up at gigs sometimes, and just really weird shit like that, you know, not because people are off their faces or whatever, you know, other reasons. So, you know, more shitty experiences like that. We actually got robbed on the way to a rave once as well. That was pretty heavy. But we were youth, and you know, that's how it kind of was on the edge of the scene at certain points. You know, in the Midlands, you know, in them times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a bit shitty, really. But you know, we're lucky we don't have those same kind of experiences in our genre in our music
No.
anymore. So
No.
it's pretty cool. You know, they're really, really rare if those weird things ever happen. Whereas that was a lot more common. So the music become a bit of a swear word because there was trouble surrounding it at points. You see some of the documentaries who talk about it actually that I've seen recently talk a little bit more about that, which is a different part of the scene, not just the glory part of it, the harder part of it.
The dark side of it. All right.
Yeah.
So what about the best venture or best venue that you've had?
Well, you know, traveling's been the best thing really, mate, because, you know, we get to see some really crazy places. So, you know, we one of the maddest adventures, I suppose, was when we went out to Japan, when we went and played in Japan.
That's recently, right?
A couple of years back, 2-3 years back. We went and done a festival out there for the Unfair.
Was that the last time you've been there?
Yeah, well, I only ever went there once, mate. It was like,
wow, it didn't seem that long time ago you went there.
It was like 2-3 years ago. Three years ago it was, I think, mate.
Wow.
And it was bloody amazing. We went to a festival and did a festival for 5 days. It's like their kind of Glastonbury festival out there. And then we went to Tokyo for a week and played there and did a couple of clubs.
Did you find it a culture shock going over there, or not really?
Yeah, totally different to what, you know. So it was quite out the norm. Sometimes you go somewhere and it's out the norm, but it was quite out the norm, which was great. So there was like loads of, you know, a really good experience. We went out with a bunch of us. We took a bunch of the Ball on Road block. Stivs brought us out, and it was like the Glastonbury Unfairground crew, and a load of us went out. Mandy Dextrous went out, and like, yeah, it was amazing, to be fair, Jay, man. Yeah. So, but just the whole experience, playing music to different people, that's like the highlight of it, really. You know, we went to Russia and did Russia a few times, and some clubs out there.
When did you go out there? What kind of the time of year did you go out there?
Winter. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it gets seriously cold out there. It really, really does get cold. And I think if you don't experience, I remember I went to Moscow for DJ Groove.
Yeah.
DJ Groove out in Moscow.
Yeah.
And I remember it was, and I'm no word of a lie, it was like minus 30 degrees. And it was like you couldn't go out without long johns. I had 2 long johns on. I still felt the cold. Long johns, trousers, big massive quilt coat, and you couldn't stay out there for too long because it is so cold. And then also I went to St. Petersburg, but I just remember that Moscow being minus 30. What was it when you was out there?
It wasn't quite that. It was like minus 10s or something. Minus 10. The last place we went to,
quite warm for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it was still freezing. You know, you want to go outside and you want to have a cigarette outside or whatever, and you know about it. You know,
Wicked.
Good way of giving up smoking cigarettes, to be fair, mate.
Right. Right. So let's talk about Chopstick Dubplate.
Yeah. So Chopstick Dubplate, I've been involved with them since I met Jackie back in 2017.
Wicked.
Some friend of mine, Bevan from Bristol, linked me and Jackie up. So you make similar kind of music, you know, pretty much the same kind of music, and you should link up and have a jam. So it was a bit of a crazy year for me. And the end of that year, 2017, he was coming into England because he's an American producer and had moved into Europe. I was living in Belgium at the time. And he come over to England to do studio with different people. And he was like, I've got a few days spare. I'll come up to Birmingham and we can have a jam. So I just agreed on it. I thought, yeah, cool, man. Let's do that. And I'd had a crazy time, so I wasn't able to do much work during the time, but I kept him in the diary, did the work, was like, right, okay, going to see you, we'll meet up. Kept him in my diary for those couple of days to hang out and whatever. And he come along. And first of all, I was like, wow, because, you know, he's different accent, different vibe. I was like, wow, kind of, you know, to me and stuff. So I was like, wow, couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then, you know, come in, hung out for a few hours, and we made a couple of tunes. And that was it. And ever since then, I've been producing music with the guy, you know, and still vibes in with him, still catch up with him
Pure vibes.
every couple of weeks, and still on the vibes with him to this day. And Chopsticks grow, progressed, moved on, done its thing, and doing its thing to this day, and still absolutely smashing it. So yeah, it's been a really good journey with that one. And I think like the reggae stuff as well that they do is like, yeah, is amazing. It's a vibe.
No, wicked. And then you got Born on Road.
Born on Road is a newer label that I started with my friend Kelvin 373, my mate Stibbs, Gold, and another friend J-Man some years ago, like 7 years ago. We started this label, and it's a crew, and we had a few tunes that we wanted to release. Kelvin and I had made some music, and I had some music as well lying around that I hadn't really got home or a plan. And
the first one was what, 7 years ago now?
7 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
And then he was like, well, let's do something with it. And we had the idea of just starting a little label to just get this music out. And then we did it. It went well. We met this guy in Motion who owned a distribution company. And we just vaguely mentioned this idea to him. He's like, I own a distribution company. Come give us, your music and meet up and we'll do a thing. And that was that. That was it. 7 years later now, and we're still releasing music and still got the crew. Got a few more members in the crew now as well. Obviously, having a lot of different artists release on the label. Producers, vocal artists as well.
Yeah,
so,
just going from strength to strength, isn't it?
Yeah, the lads are out now in New Zealand having a tour. Doing,
Who's down there? Who's exactly down there now?
Kelvin's out there, and Gray's out there, and Crossy's out there as well. They just did a little festival thing this weekend, and been doing their things. And AC13's out there as well. He's off the label. And
are you in talks with them out there on the regs?
Sorry?
Are you in talks with them while they're out there? Are you in talks with them?
Yeah. No, I've been have meetings with Kelvin and stuff. Every week, a few days, something like times a week, because obviously we've got the label and everything.
They had to, when they went out there, they had to self-isolate for
two weeks of isolation.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and
did they actually? They could come out of the room, couldn't they? Out of their hotel room.
They were allowed to go outside into a car park
into the grounds, right?
For a little bit of exercise or to go and smoke a cigarette, but still very restricted whilst doing so. So yeah.
But once
they did it. Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah.
Good lads. They smashed it. So I've been seeing some videos. Looks amazing. Looks really good.
Oh, wicked. I want to bring it back again. And what was your first paid gig? That's a really hard one. It would have been the latter part of the 90s, probably like 96, 97. We used to put our own parties on, which we started in 96. We didn't actually get paid for them, but from that point, we were starting playing out in other cities and that, and being invited, and we might get 20 quid or 50 quid or whatever, some petrol or whatever. That's how it was back in the day. Yeah. That's how it was. I would say like it's our YTS. That's how it was.
That's how it was, mate. Yeah. And but that was that. It's never really about that. It's always been about the music. So just getting music out there as much as possible is a priority. Yeah. And never really thought about it as a money thing. It's just
because at the end of the day, this music thing, you have to be in it. I did an interview not long ago, and I said you have to be dedicated into this 150%. It's not a job. It's not like a job. You've got to be dedicated 150% into this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it might require a lot of time or sacrifice or something in order to.
That's it.
To give time sacrifice. To doing whatever you choose to do in the music scene. Whether that's learning your craft in whatever you're choosing to learn that craft in. It requires time and dedication, like you say, and commitment. It's a love thing, isn't it? It's a passion thing for the music.
Without a doubt.
That's
absolutely love it.
Yeah.
This ain't work. This isn't work.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So you and me we've done collabs, and you know, we've done tunes together.
Yeah.
Who would you want to who would you want to collab with? Who would you want to do? It doesn't have to be in our genre, it'd be in another kind of genre. Whoever. Who would you really want to do a collab with? Who would you love to do one with? Could be
Well,
anybody.
generally, yeah, it's a hard one. But in drum and bass, I really rate Blade Runner, and I've done a bunch with him. And we actually got in the studio last week, and had another jam. And it's always a pleasure. So he's always been one of my favourite producers. And Marcus Visionary, always one of my favourite producers. You know, certain guys, and I've honestly I had the opportunity to work with those guys. So beyond that, I don't really have any kind of like I want to go work with this guy.
Someone who's outside of the genre of our genre.
Outside of the genre.
Yeah, somebody, anybody, a vocalist.
Maybe, do you know what? Scientist would be wicked. The dub producer, Scientist.
Yeah.
He's you know, the traditional dub engineer. There was some dubstep and other collabs that were done a few years ago, and from when I really got into the reggae and dubwise sound on the Jungle again, like later on, and more studying down the line, he's always been somebody that I've always gone and listened to. Loads of the dub albums that were by like Scientists, Tubby, Prince Jammy, you know, these kind of guys.
Invaders, the Space Invaders album. I was listening to that the other week, actually. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. So on a dubwise thing, I mean, Dillinger's a legend again because he's just got them engineering. So, you know, if you ever got the opportunity to go with Dillinger or even somebody like Caliber, those guys that, you know, that over the years,
school originals. Yeah.
We've always looked up to and thought, wow, these guys are like, you know, really amazing at what they do. You know, I've got that thing. So out, you know, in the box, Dillinger and Caliber, and out the box, probably Scientist. And there's probably a bunch more, but you know, I've never directly thought about it and gone, oh, I've got to do something with this guy or that guy. You know, a lot of it is naturally felt like when I remember. Back in the day, we just played at Dub Tendo 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly. Boomtown, yeah. And we passed over the decks to each other. I can't remember which way around. And you was like, "Oh, we'll have to get in the studio."
Yeah.
And I remember you going, "We'll have to get in the studio." And a couple of weeks later, you give me a shout, and then ever since then we've got in the studio, so I do remember that.
Churning them out,
quite clearly, because I was like, wow, Nicky's asked me to get in the studio and make some tunes. I was like,
no, wicked.
You know, one of them ones.
Last question, last but not least, it's a silly question.
Go on.
It's a silly question here, right? Would you rather fly like a bird or swim in the ocean like a dolphin?
I'd like to fly like a bird because I used to dream when I was little about flying a lot, and apparently a lot of people do dream about flying. So I, you know, like I'd have these mad dreams where I like flew down the stairs or whatever, you know, like weird things like that. So
right, listen, I think Aries, we're gonna have to leave it there. But listen,
yes, mate.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Wicked first interview. It's great. Made me feel at home as well. Wicked.
Been an honour, bro. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you,
Catch you soon, mate.
Lovely.
Take care.
Nice one.
Big up.
Big up the Aries. Absolutely wicked first interview. Made me feel right at home. Straight into this one from the Aries. This is 1994 VIP. Shout to the Tom Carr, all the Energy crew. Big up the man and the Kareem.
know, so you see the second time round. I must have paid them cash, man. I'm big things.
Stop up that.
Big things.
Stop up that.
I must have paid them cash, man. I'm big things.
Into the D-minus, this is called a Cashman. Big up the John, big up the Alistair. Big up all the run crew.
I must have paid them cash, man. I'm big things. Cash, man, I'm big things.
Stop up that.
I was selling the black market. I like a boy, this is what my sound, them off the pocket. So them are some novice. And we just a real boss. I want them to talk about the king of fire. Damn cool, don't you? Step in the boy, take. Dream up, push on all this. All in that fool. Hey. Nicky Blackmarket. Blue them. We know this is our own. Well done, that white night. Kill them and be a feelings of man carry. Them done the director and them can't say them sorry. Kill them and be a feelings of man carry. When Nicky Allah tell them again, so that one and them. Oh, them and could have what that them and try. This Nicky Blackmarket, but you will let them die. Oh, them and me go see them with the spell. This is money with like them swell gonna hell, yeah. Oh, them and could have with them one cause. Them this man cause I know them all right.
Big up the bastard, good evening, sir.
Them and me go tell them this word. Nicky put them under the earth. Don't know see a dead sound them. Don't be man them not in a no with them. The fire be burn them. Don't condemn. Dead man them.
Got to say massive shout to the Aries. Wicked little interview.
Tell them so we not eat no friend. Now go to flourish and the rocky broken. The fire ya Nicky ya go put it on them in here. Kill them and be a feeling them and happy. Them done the director and them can't say them sabi ya.
Shout to the Mr. Barnes.
Feelings them and happy. When Nicky Blackmarket I say.
Big up the Wixie.
Take a sip and test. The phenomena. Folks take a sip and test. Who splits your best? Folks take a sip and test. Who splits your best? Take a sip and test. Who splits your best?
Little special.
Folks take a sip and test. Who splits your best? The phenomena. I'm bombing you like Lebanon.
Shout to the Deirdre.
Lebanon. Take a sip and test. The phenomena.
sounds of the Smuggler. Biobeats Biz. Shout out to the Fat Man, all the Biobeats crew. Big up the profile. Nicky Blackmarket podcast every second Sunday of the month, 6 to 7:30. Headrooms with sponsors Innovation and Sennheiser. Stacked outs. Something from Ozone. This one's called Subminimal. Big up to Philip Finch. Shout to the Sarah, how you doing? Big up the Aaron. This one's forthcoming on the Gradient album. Shout to the Nuri. Big up to Neil. All the Herefordshire massive. and Replicant. This one's called Ghetto Hots. Big up to Mr. Bordeaux. Stacked Out Entertainments, Headroom Studios, Nicky Blackmarket podcast every second Sunday in association with Innovation and Sennheiser. Shout to the Mr. Stringer, all the Payback Promotions crew.
One vintage, never bash out. Last set.
Right now, that's why I'm on it. Yeah. Cause in the Bible, I'm fight just to run it. In that try the thing, but they want time to run it. Yeah. None of them know they just sell out them swear for money. Now do them, I do it. I'm not stick like orange money. No people are like me, hear the truth, but me, I'll keep it straight. When I'm in this, when I talk up the things, we not hesitate. Behind me back, not for chat, then smiling, now we face. Cause them know it's
Brand new.
and we now gonna run no race.
Kenny Ken,
Done this. Come on,
Demolition Man.
when I business, when I time in the place, I be there. Yo, when I'm on this. The sharp rasta man, they on the case, I see down pan the PS, so don't be astonished. Yo, I mean, rhythms like this will get demolished. But you know, by sitting a true base or in a logic. These are man, me never ever make a promise, but I promise him my trophy. Right now, that's why I'm on it. Hey, what say you a do? I got me a feel test some little jealousy. Them not like to see we cause them know we a go through. Even though them feel them living better than me and you. Them a drive more secure or live in a big house too. Same way them a bad mind you and your whole crew. We see the signs, me no blind, this and no Mr. Mago. Hear me tell you no lyrically you will get slow. Yeah, listen when me tell you this, me humble but don't take the piss. Anytime me a rhyme, people have to pay for this. Producers, promoters, selectors and DJs, I pray for this day that it will never come and you make me stay for this money that I work for earn. Yes, I mean my papers. Play with fire, you get burned. Cause feel like some quavers. Get to know you better learn. Be done with the favors. Third eye record, tell them this one's for the ravers. So this whole give me on this. Come on, do this. Man, the business, the time in the place. When they yo, man, on this. Light up this spliff in the place. Blow the smoke in your face. Don't be astonished. The video go and get demolished. Can't wait for your it to bubble up in the chalice. These are man we never ever make a promise, but I promise for my shop this beat right now. That's why I'm on it for you. On the place down, can't flap my stuff. I'm street.
Brand new Kenny Ken, Demolition Man,
That's what we require. That's what we require.
Third Eye Records. Big up the Sid.
For you.
Big up the Sarah. Happy Mother's Day to all the mummies. mummies out there. Hope you're having, hope you're getting pampered. Respect to everybody locked in, locked on right about now. This is the TI remix of Dominator's Hooked. R.I.P. the Dominator. Biobeats Biz. Big shout out to the Jenica that's coming from the Sherry. Big up the original Morning After crew. Foundation Biz. Big up the Nick. Jeopardize, this one's called End Game. Big up the Logan D. All the Low Down Deep crew.
Exploding heart technique.
Big up the Sean, big up the Joe and the Flo. Costa del Melter Mowbray crew.
Exploding heart technique.
Everything's going to start opening back up again as from 21st of June. forward to playing out again. Again, a massive shout to Aries. Very first interview. First of many I'm going to be doing. Made me feel at home. Wicked stuff. Everybody in the place. As we roll with the sound of Send the next one out to all the old school crew. This is the Voltage remix of SS's Black. I'm tearing beeline on this one. Walls of Jericho are thundering on this one. Morning after crew. Big shout to the Mark Smith. How you doing, sir? Big up to Louise. This one, a little techie collab. Down of the Trex and the Benny V. This one's called Tundra. This one's coming out on Trust Audio. Pick up the quest. The time proper phone pass tonight. Pick up the sherry. Salute to you. Pick up the Toby.
Yo, what's going on?
Big up to Teresa. Off someone's head. We'll play this in a set. Down to the devious Rude Boy D. Yeah. This one's called Ease Up. Right, I'm going to love and leave you with one more. One more! One more! Gotta send a shout to my missus, Darla. Shout out to all the kids, Millie, Caitlin, Eva, Dexter and Tabs. Love you lots.
Still, this is Johnny Osborne, the dancehall godfather. I represent the wickedest sound, the Black Market sound out of London city scene. Big up man like Nicky Blackmarket, Miss Osborne. Say that, that's all now. Rough. Run tune select.
Coffin and rich, all your coffin and red. Coffin and rich, all your coffin and red. Coffin and rich, all your coffin and red.
Right, we're gonna love and leave you with this one.
Too many friends, too many blood clot foes. Too much babies, not showers and God knows. Don't make the mistake and trip on me toes. Might end up looking panda with a broken nose and F them races, we are born and we are born and F them races, we are born.
Nicky Blackmarket podcast. Every second Sunday.
We are born and we are born and F them races, we are born and Nazi.
Sorry, I had to take that from the top.
Coffin and red, coffin and red.
Nicky Blackmarket podcast.
Red. One round move you hold your coffin and red.
Headroom Studios, Slacked Out Entertainments.
Babies not showers and
in association with Innovation and Zenizer.
Might end up looking panda with
every second Sunday. Leaving you this one, brand new cartoons.
Races, we are born and we are born and F them races, we are born.
Brand new cartoons, featuring the new artist Soul. This is the King You remix, featuring the Ragged Twins. Big up the Alex. Big up the Flinty, big up the Demon. Brand new artist Soul.
we are born and we are born and nasty.
Catch me back second Sunday of the month, 6 o'clock. Dead in your dial. Gonna be having another guest interview with you next month.
We are born and nasty.
Very big thank you to everybody locked in, locked on this evening. Until next month, see you again. See ya.
F them races, we are born and we are born and F them races, we are born and F them races, we are born and we are born and F them races, we are born and nasty.